universe.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is the Metallic Kitty, and I'm here with the Elven Wizard and the Fae Empress today. And we're going to talk about Inner Realms Journey and the Kids program. And if for those of you just hopping on for the first time and are like, what is Inner Realms Journey? Inner Realms Journey is a fantasy-themed meditation adventure game experience and also creative academic platform. So there's versions for adults and there's versions for children. And here you create your mythical persona, your avatar, which we'll talk about the avatar today, which is really all of us are coming online with our avatars right now.
Yeah.
So in this game, these meditation experiences, we're exploring different realms in a fun and guided way. And Aaron, the Elven Wizard, is the founder, and he's going to go into some of those details. And yeah, the Inner Realms Journey experience is really designed to expand your imagination and empower you and help you understand your own individual nature. So really what is at the core of our being, our values, our essence, and who we are. So
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you, Kitty.
So welcome,
Yeah.
everybody.
Welcome. Awesome. I see Jared's on here. Welcome, brother. Great to have you. Very excited to have this magical interview, this connection tonight here. We're going to be sharing more about Inner Realms Journey and really diving into all the fun stuff around the kids program. We've been developing this over the last few years for adults and kids, and it's helping people connect with their avatar, right? That mythic self, that mythical personality, that inner role model, right? This who am I? Who am I really? And who can I be? And how can I bring my most magical, powerful, epic, inspired self to this world? So you'll see, if you go to our website, we've got a lot of stuff about the adults, but like I said, tonight we're going to be diving in here with the Fae Empress, our kids director, who's been helping develop the kids platform and sharing more of how this has been helping kids and some of our vision for that and how this can continue to support kids and, navigating these crazy times and live their most magical self and be empowered in who they are. And, I just want to share at the beginning here what was very exciting news that we were just in the Colorado Arts and Education magazine Collage, their spring issue 2022 here that went to art education teachers across the state of Colorado. So very cool to have IRJ featured in there, what it is, and kind of get this information out there to educators. And, we got some of the Fae Empress's work featured in the article and some of the stuff she's been doing with the kids in the classroom and the workshops. And I can show off real quick the little glance of the magazine here. Let's see. Let me pull that up here. Oh, it was up and then it disappeared. Let's see. Share. Well, give me one moment.
Hi, Jared, just want to say hi. We've got some hellos on here. Nice
Yeah,
to see you. Glad you're here.
Let's see. Huh. Well, let me try one more time here. Okay. Let's see. Brings it up. Okay, here we go. All right. So yeah, this was the Spring Collage magazine, our featured article. Can you guys see that over there? The full image?
Not the full image. We've got the thumbnails.
Okay. Let me switch.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone.
I'm about to do the full screen. All right. You see it there?
We can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So you got to see this. So here we are in the Collage magazine, like I said, for Colorado, spring 22 issue. So we got to share in here some of the stuff we've been doing with IRJ in the classroom and getting this out to educators, right? Public educators, private schools, tutors, stay-at-home parents. So we've got a pretty robust program here we're going to be diving into on how this can help kids and can be brought to kids, right, in a variety of formats. We've got our lesson plan, we got activities for both the teachers, the tutors, the educators, and also the parents, as well as our workshops, which we'll be talking about. So just proud of that. Wanted to show you guys some of our latest workout. All right, cool. I'll pass it back to you, Metallic Kitty.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so our Fae Empress, Emma, is here to talk about the kids program, and I have some questions for Emma just to introduce her and not only the kids program, but also a kids facilitation program where other educators can learn how to guide children in this format. So this new awesome format we have here. So yeah, welcome, Fae Empress. So nice to see you. She's joining us from New Zealand. Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, how is it over there today?
It's okay. Our seasons are changing and it's starting to get quite grey and rainy, but it's still warm and it's school holidays here at the moment. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so my first question for the Fae Empress is, can you tell us about your avatar, Miss Fae Empress, and what inspires her? How has she been evolving? Tell us the story.
Yeah, she's evolved a lot, actually. I'd forgotten my magic. So I met Aaron a couple of years ago and I just totally forgotten who I was. When I was a little girl, I loved fairies, flower fairies. And, I used to color them and I had books and all the pictures everywhere and the little models. And totally forgotten about my connection with fairies. And then when I heard about Aaron's meditation game, and I had to find my avatar, it was instant that this fairy appeared to me. And she started off as a fairy alchemist, because I knew that I had some medicine in me where I wanted to help children and guide them from dark places into light places and help them with self-esteem, and also to help them find the magic within themselves, because there's this key age where children get to about 10 and it's like, I don't believe in that anymore. I don't want to play and do make believe anymore. And I wanted to keep that magic going. So as I started evolving in my own meditation journey and my own avatar, my whole life started changing. And I realized that I wanted to help more children than just in a classroom setting. And I wanted to reach out further. So my avatar upgraded to the Fae Empress, because I could see and feel leadership qualities in me. And it's how I live my life now. Whenever I'm feeling quite shy or nervous, for example, I don't really like doing videos and being watched. I'm very confident and out there with the children, but as soon as I know I'm being watched or on screen, I'm like, oh. So I have to kind of like, find your power, find your empress, and it helps with all of that. Yeah.
Oh yes. Yes. No, that's beautiful. And you went into a little bit how IRG, what it really brought within you out, and the journey you're embarking on with it. I'm curious, how did you and Aaron meet? How did that even happen?
Yeah, so we met online and built a connection together. And then we met in real life, and we were kind of drawn to each other because I was fascinated in the work that he was doing with meditation. I had just started my meditation journey. I'd been on quite a spiritual path for about 10 years, but I hadn't dived deep. And so I was one of the trialers for the IRJ program. And I loved it so much because I wasn't very good at meditation. I was like, oh, I'm sitting there in silence just doesn't do anything for me. So having like a little story to get lost in was really, really powerful. And then, we started meeting up, and I said I was a classroom teacher, and I was like, wow, this would be amazing to use with the kids. And so from there, our friendship developed, and we've been kind of collaborating ever since. So yeah, it's exciting.
That is exciting. Yeah, Elven Wizard, I kind of want to go over to you now, and I'm
Yeah.
wondering if the meeting of you and the Fae Empress, if this really kind of unleashed the vision of the kids program. Did you have a vision of the kids program prior to this, or was this like the catalyst for it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, when I decided to create Inner Realms Journey, I felt there was going to be a kids part at some point. And even some of the, I'll say very early prototypes was me doing a version of this with my daughter at night, like as a sort of a bedtime story experience where I would sort of lead her on these journeys as her sort of mermaid, fairy, princess self. So I knew in the back of my mind that it would be kids at some point. I thought this was going to be maybe years down the road because beyond my daughter, I love being around kids. I've always been able to, just be fun and playful with kids, but I haven't had experience particularly in the kids field. But yeah, when I met Emma and she was like, "This is gonna be awesome with kids. Can I run with it?" I was like, "Okay, I guess here we go with the kid stuff." And she was right there, just going for it full on with it, and coming back and sharing these amazing stories about how the kids are loving it and wanting more. And so, like you said, we started like brainstorming on ideas, and she's had all this amazing experience teaching. So she was able to start coming up with really fun activities and ideas. And then she'd bring them to me. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. And you could try this or let's do that. So it just became this playful development. And we had this awesome time where she was, she had her classroom she was running, so she had kind of an open space to experiment, and these kids that were loving it. So it was like the perfect combination that happened.
Yeah, the synergy. It sounds like
Yeah.
just beautiful. Yeah.
We felt like,
Amazing.
okay, this is our mission here. It's like, okay, this is where we
Yeah.
met.
Yeah, the train's on the tracks.
Right.
It's going. Yeah, wonderful. Well, Faye Empress, I'd love to hear. So, you were starting your meditation practice. You came across this as the prototype, the Inner Realms Journey. Prior to this vision of your avatar and all this coming online, what kind? What is your experience with kids? Like, how long have you been working with children? Can you talk a little bit about your journey with that?
Yeah, so I always knew that I wanted to work with children, either as a nurse or an educator. So when I left school at 18 in UK, I went to university in Brighton and I became a teacher, and I did upper primary, lower secondary with English and drama. So of course, all the dressing up and getting into character is right up my street because I love the performing arts. And so did that taught in high school for a year, and that wasn't so much for me. So I moved into primary school, worked in a lot of deprived areas around the UK, and then 12 years ago moved to Auckland in New Zealand and taught in a few schools over here. I've taught from 4 years old right up until 14 years old. Yeah, and then about a year and a bit ago, I started doing my workshops with children as well and branching it out of the classroom so that I could have a bit more freedom doing what I wanted to do outside of the curriculum. So yeah, it's great.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, yeah, and now you've got this new format for children that has really opened up a lot for you too. It sounds like in meditation. Can you go into some of your experience introducing this to children and some of the feedback and maybe even some of the results that you're getting while you're introducing this to children and the age group? I want to focus in on what age group is primary education, what you're working with. Yeah.
Yep. So my trial class was at the end of 2020, and that was a group of 10 and 11-year-olds. And I must admit, I was a bit nervous because I told you that's that age where they start changing and getting a little bit cool for things. And I said, we're going to drop into the magic, and we're going to have a go at this. And it was lovely. They created their own art projects of little dioramas of their inner sanctuaries, and some of them even got into dressing up a little bit, but we did lots of writing projects. And It went quite well, and then I decided that I wanted to start it at the beginning of the year in my classroom with a big sort of who am I project and bring us all together, and who am I, but who am I as my sort of magical highest best version of myself. So I introduced it to a class of 8 and 9-year-olds, and oh my goodness, they absolutely loved it. They're just sparkling. And what was so beautiful about it is I used it for my writing program. And a lot of the boys didn't like writing. And when they used to ask me, are we doing Inner Realms today? I said, oh, you mean writing? Yeah, we're going to write today, because they couldn't wait to hear the next story. And then we would all close our eyes or draw and listen to the stories, and then they would kind of write their version of it down. So that was all of last year. I kind of weaved it in and out of my classroom practice through the arts and writing. And then this year, I'm using it with 5 to 13-year-olds in workshops and helping homeschoolers as well. And because I'm not confined to the Ministry of Education, I've basically made a lot of this my curriculum for all of the arts and the writing, and health and well-being as well. So I have four children that I teach twice a week, and we learn about breathing, and we've learned about, who we are. And they, even when they think about their inner sanctuary, they've basically taken the new land that they've moved on to and upgrading that in their minds first. And so they drop into the meditation and go, yeah, I want a swimming pool here, and I want to swing here, and so it's good. And then some online stuff as well. So good range of kids.
Yeah, that's and I love the diversity of the various experiences that children are having. And it sounds like writing and art are two forms that activities that are a product or a result of the journeying. And I'm wondering if the Elven Wizard, if do we have any of the children's art that we could bring on to show the process here?
Yeah, let's do it here. Let's see. And okay, here we go. And then I could probably maybe speak to what some of these were. Or I could say here, we've got at the top here. So some of these are the avatars, which for those of you just joining on, the avatar is the main persona you create within the Inner Realms Journey experience. It's this magical, mythical, epic self that you get to develop and grows. And it's also very empowering, inspiring to connect with it. And of course, we're all here decked out as our avatars on this interview. Which I love and so much fun. But here you can see these were, I think, some of the early kids you could speak to, Emma, that drew out and started to describe some of their avatars, and I believe there's one there they were writing their avatar as well.
Yeah, they did a little bit of planning and writing. And what was really sweet, because I did that at the beginning of meeting my new class, I actually learned loads about them, because they're not going to choose a mythical character that they don't relate to. So what I did is I went through loads and loads of different examples of characters. And if they wanted to hear more, then they could hear more and write down some notes about how it related to them. There was one little girl who was really, really shy, and she never, ever spoke. And by seeing her avatar in picture form and the notes on the side, I learned so much about her and who she was. So I felt like I could connect with her, because she was too shy to kind of show me herself, really. But by showing me this way, it kind of allowed her to open up. I found that with a lot of children, you can learn a lot about people by who they choose to be.
Right. I'll say too with that, and I think you could speak to this more as well, Emma, that you saw some of this in the group format where the kids started to understand each other's avatar and had kind of gone on this journey together over many, many weeks. And so there's a bit of a better synergy, maybe even understanding and compassion between each other, because they could see each other at these deeper levels.
Yeah, because kids sometimes get a little bit like us all, insecure and don't really want to share so much. But when they're in their avatar character, it was all like a game. So they'd be sharing, but they'd end up sharing stuff about, you know, their lives and their worries and all those sort of things. And everyone would be very supportive. And when we went on journeys together, meditation journeys, they'd sometimes say, "Oh, you know, you, the Fae Empress, was in my one, and you were doing this," and, you know, talking about all the different characters in our classroom and what they were doing. So yeah, it was lovely. It was good connection and getting people together.
Right. Awesome. See, I got a feeling this
Yeah,
is a new one.
it's so
Oh, go
nice
ahead.
to be dissolving those walls that
Yes.
are keeping kids from expressing, and just the safety that creates. So beautiful.
Yeah,
What
and
are you
that's
looking at?
each character is so different, and I've seen so many avatars that I can't actually remember and tell you the story about each character. But a lot of them are attracted to animals. I have a couple of little girls who I still work with today. That's a little tiny fairy in the middle of the forest there.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, I have some children who were so connected with wolves that they created this wolf pack at school where they, you know, they got into that role, and I was their empress, and they'd come up and play with me at lunchtime, you know, and say, "Oh, can you send us on a mission, please?" And off they went. And I thought it was just so lovely that they were, you know, doing that make believe play and tapping into the essence of what it would be like to be an animal. And you know, it's great. It really cool.
And we got
Yeah.
a few of the sanctuary dioramas here. So in the Inner Realms journey, another thing you get to create is your inner sanctuary, which is like your own magical realm, your own home space, and it can be anything you want. And so Emma had the kids kind of do little fun dioramas, creating their sanctuary as a whole another project.
Yeah, and they're just all so different. You know, for
Mm.
example, the mermaid had the sort of underwater scenes, and we got the tropical beach there with the fairy in it. It's yeah, really cool.
Oh. And then this was a new one. So another thing you do in the realms is there's these portals, and the portals are what take you from your sanctuary out to the tree of life and into and out of the different realms that you get to explore in each meditation journey. Takes you to a different realm. There's a fairy realm, there's angelic realms, there's Citadel, the kings and queens, and all kinds of different ones. So I thought this was really cool. You had then some of them did on old CDs, which are great because we probably all have old CDs laying around,
Yeah,
creating their
it looks
portals.
really nice when it's reflecting.
Right, super cool. And then in the first journey, you meet my avatar, the Elven Wizard, and I have to say this is one of my favorite parts is seeing the artworks of the kids drawing the Elven Wizard and their experience in the forest. I can't say I don't get tired of that. It's super fun.
Yeah, that that leads me into my next question for the Elven Wizard is, yeah, with the diversity with all of the realms, how are the children? The Fae Empress was mentioning there's so many new avatars that she's witnessing. How are the children inspiring additions to Inner Realms journey? Are there any? Is there anything that the children have brought to you that you're like, oh, you know, this is going to be my next journey? Anything
Yeah,
happening?
I
Yeah.
do have a list of journeys to make, and definitely Emma's class. I got to go in before I left New Zealand, and I went in as the Elven Wizard, and they showed me their projects, and I got to guide them on a journey. But a handful of them gave me specific requests that they wanted for journeys in the future. They're in my list. The funniest one was I can't remember. I don't know if you remember Emma who it was. This girl wanted ladders. She had a thing with ladders. She wanted ladders in a journey. So that's on my list. I don't know how that'll work yet. But definitely the avatars, like seeing their different creations. You know, I think that's expanded some of our suggested potential avatars. Seeing I think a lot of it's been the activities and seeing what they relate to. I think that's been the biggest thing is like what they relate to and what inspires them. And even as we're getting into, you know, Emma's done a lot with art and writing, and now we've got some activities around science and history and math, like seeing what excites the kids in their journey, like what really lights them up and makes them want to do more. And then how can we transfer some of that excitement and the magic into those areas that maybe aren't as exciting or as fun. that they need to learn, for academic reasons to live here and stuff. So that's been a big piece of it. And for me, it's been a huge inspiration. I mean, Emma had them write thank you letters for me coming in, and they wrote some beautiful ones that, if I'm ever feeling down or overwhelmed, I just pull out one of their letters and they're like, thank you, I'm a wizard. This is awesome. And, you brought the magic back to my life. So, that in itself is just a huge contribution just to keep me fueled on this endeavor. Yeah.
Yeah, they
that's
certainly
beautiful.
love
Yeah,
dessert.
Say that again.
that's wonderful. What was
Oh, could you
that?
say that again,
Fae
Fae
Empress?
Empress?
Oh, I said they certainly enjoyed the visit. When you've spent weeks and weeks listening to different journeys and hearing a voice, and getting into the game, and then the character, the avatar, the elven wizard actually shows up in real life. It was beautiful. They all sort of they dressed up as their avatars, and some of them really made an effort with that. It was really good.
No, it's so wonderful, and
Yeah.
the interaction, the interactivity, the engagement. So, yeah, wonderful. So I know, Fae Empress, in embarking on this journey and what you, it seems that you've moved away from some of the traditional schooling. And I'm curious on those steps that you've taken and what it is like for you being a facilitator. And if you could talk about the facilitation role, maybe, and also if anyone is interested in becoming a facilitator, what kinds of things can they do, and what to get involved.
Yeah, so I kind of started my facilitation just as sort of one-off workshops at festivals that went really well. So just a sort of sneak peek, and the children enjoyed it so much. We then had a long lockdown last year from August until the end of the year. So I decided to do an online Inner Realms project, a workshop with them, and it was meant to be 4 weeks, and I did it for the boys because I saw that a lot of the boys were interested in this. So it was a boys' workshop, and I had about 8 boys or so. And we ended up meeting every week for about 10 weeks because they loved it so far. And we went through the sequence of creating the avatar, the inner sanctuary, talking about our special powers, any weaknesses we had. And then I turned it into a game, which is kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. And it was role play where we would use the meditations, and then I would give them meditations as well, and I would stop at various points in the journey and say, right, what would you do here? And we'd talk about it and we'd problem solve together. And then what I would do is ask them to think about a time in real life where something similar may have happened. Now, if anyone's ever worked with young boys before, it's not always easy to get them to open up about things they find challenging. But actually, in this workshop that I did online, they were able to talk about problems with bullies and how they didn't feel confident, and that they would start working with the fire element to power themselves up. They all had dragons by the end of the 10 weeks. And we talked about, what does the energy of having a dragon feel like when you've got a dragon by your side? And they said, oh, it makes me feel strong and fierce. And so we activated that energy within ourselves so that they knew that they could go off and, face those kids that scared them, and remember that energy of courage. So that's when I started seeing it as a really amazing workshop, not just for creativity, but also as a therapy. So I've been using Inner Realms now to help children with anxiety and self-esteem issues, girls and boys individually and in groups. So as a facilitator, it's really flexible what you can do with it. I use it as a writing teacher, an English teacher, so I can do teaching writing online or in person. I use it one-on-one as a kind of creative therapy, and then I use it as a after-school holiday or holiday workshop for kids, and just really fun and tapping into themselves. So yeah, you can use it in whatever way if you want to be a facilitator, and it works online and offline as well. So it's good.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I'll just add, we've got the facilitator training program. So you can go to irjkids.com if you're interested in that. And basically, we get you signed up and set up with some training with the Fae Empress herself. And, she walks you through the different ways of using this. We've got the initial 12-part kids lesson plan that takes you through the first 12 audios where you set up your avatar and sanctuary, your allies, and some of the first journeys into the realms. And then we've got, it's about 60 pages now, the activity book, and growing as we continue developing, right? All of the activities for each one, from the art, the writing, science, math. We got vocabulary in there. We've got some theater. We've got the social emotional aspects. So there's all kinds of activities, and like Faye Empress said, it's super flexible. You can do this an hour a week with kids. It could be it's designed to be a full curriculum as well. So we're even working with some potential homeschool parents who want to use this right as their basis for a lot of the education and stuff as well. So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, becoming a facilitator in whatever format, we've got the whole program set up and certification and training and everything that gets you up and running.
Now, I kind of want to bring the parents in.
Yeah.
As a topic. So Emma, you were kind of new to meditation and feeling it out. What would Elven Wizard, Fae Empress, what would either one of you recommend to the parents that are exploring this? Would you recommend that they try it out first, or how can they help their kids prepare? What kind of things would you suggest for the parents?
I think it's a really lovely thing to do as a family. I think it's a great family activity where you can all sit down together and go through the trainings and the journeys, and then you could talk about them and compare. And I think it'd be such a lovely thing to do. But I do recommend that parents have a look at it, because I think parents who don't really understand it, they're like, well, what is this? Wizards and fairies, and how's this going to help my child at all? And very, very few actually get it. And then when they actually have a go at it themselves or watch my workshops, they're like, okay, I see what's happening here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely seeing the family, gotten to see a few families doing this, and groups of whatever sort, and there's a lot of fun and synergy there. So definitely ideal if the parents can go through with it. And then we've got, you can go in there. I've got a few parents that signed up for their own accounts, and then they signed up account for their kids. So they're going through it together. And then we've also got the parents training, which is up. You can go through irjkids.com. We're going to be doing some live trainings or some pre-recorded trainings, where you can go in there and it's some of the Fae Empress, some videos of me guiding you as parents of here's the activity book, here's kind of how we suggest you do this and these activities, so that again you can carry it out however much you want as a parent. It can be just a half an hour thing to do once a week, or if you're got your kids at home and you're schooling them at home, this can be a really awesome core foundation for your education with all the activities on there. I've talked to a lot of homeschool parents that are like, I don't even know what to do with my kids. There's so much, where do I even go? And so we've tried to design this as a core, like a foundation that supports all the other activities in there with that. So we've got a lot more we're working on too with all of that.
Yeah, well, it's 60-page lesson plan. So I mean, it sounds like there is a lot of support for parents to understand how to integrate this and bring it into either their own experience or support their children with it. So that's great. Yeah, the parental support's great. Well, I'm sorry, Faye. Yeah.
I wanted to mention as well that, I've taught many children with different disabilities and things. And I've also taught children with ADHD, children who really struggle to sit still and do anything. And to say, meditation for my child, he can't sit still. He won't listen. But actually, I had a little boy who every time he was just all over the place and getting overly emotional, I would just sit him down in a comfy place, headphones on, and he would just sit there and get into it. So it can work really, really well for children that you think, oh no, not my child. They would never sit still and listen to this. If they're into fantasy and dragons and heroes and being the hero of your own story, if that ignites them, then they will sit and listen to it and love it.
No, that's so true. And I know that the creative mind, these kinds of formats for education can really support that. Because you do have someone with a higher creativity that doesn't know how to work with it, and they don't know how to work with the energy happening within themselves. So that's a wonderful testimonial, Fae Empress. Like, that's so exciting. Yeah. Working with that population of children. Yeah.
Because we had, I meet a lot of parents with children and they say, oh, my child's different. They don't really fit into the norm, and they're quite out there and they don't sit still. And I would say, this is a program that will suit not all children, and especially children, like you said, who have that energy running through them and they don't really know what to do with it. And I find that they're like creative geniuses inside, but they don't know how to express themselves and they don't know how to express their emotions yet. So this is just a way of channeling it in a safe, fun way.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm curious on the writing, the arts. We had some examples come up for that. What other kinds of activities are in the 60-page lesson plan? So I know that there's a lot. And we went into some of what the avatar and creating this avatar is, and meditation journeys. Can you speak about some other activities that you have for the kids?
Yeah, so recently I've been teaching the children a lot about the breath. So to tap into that creative part of our brain and to be able to create and connect with our avatar in the first place, we need to learn how to breathe properly and deeply. So that's ended up being science projects about how the lungs work and about oxygen and carbon dioxide and our connection with the trees and the nervous system and why they feel all over the place when they've had an argument with someone. So I go into the parasympathetic nervous system, how the brain works, the different parts of the brain, and the children are fascinated by that, as am I. When I first started meditating, I didn't know about the science of it. I was like, oh yeah, you just sit there and you're meant to calm your mind, and that's it. I didn't know that when we breathe properly, from our diaphragm, that it actually helps, and since doing all my learning around this as well, so there's all the science around that. Lots of research projects to help with reading as well, so to go in and look at ancient mythology and where these characters and stories come from. So a lot of history as well. Where did fairies originate from? What culture did they originate from? What happened to them? All of that sort of. It's really lovely. Yeah. So there's all sorts. There's so many projects and tasks. I've actually said to Aaron, I don't know when I'll ever be able to get through them all, because even though I help plan them all, I obviously have my favorites, my go-tos. So every time I have a new picture, I like that one. The little art one of the portals is a new one, but drama, obviously drama as well, music, writing your own songs and getting the old shamanic drums out to make rhythm and to talk about how sound and vibrations and how that works through your body. So sound waves and lots and lots.
Sure. If you're like, two popular journeys have been the ice realm and the fire realm, right, which are very raw elements. And so Emma's done some, and we've come up with ideas of, for the fire realm, there's so much in science that we need to learn about fire, from volcanoes and lava and heat and climate change and all this stuff, right? Or even just heat exchange in science and thermodynamics. So a lot of that can be inspired by the fire journey. And then same with the ice realm, that's about the frozen, the Antarctic. I think you did a project with some of the kids of looking at survivors, people that went and explored the Antarctica for the first time, and how did they explore their ice realm and live and survive, right? And so even in the journeys where they're exploring these different worlds, each journey is very rich in the environment and the setting. So then a lot can be related to this world and different things that kids need to learn in this world and can explore. And then even the math, that one's been a little more challenging, but I've been finding some ways. And, in a lot of the journeys, I bring in patterns and numbers from the four elements and other things. So we've started to kind of tie that into math and looking at patterns and even geometry. So there's still more there I want to develop, but I'm like, all right, how do we get this in the math? How do we get this in each one? So a lot of good stuff there.
Wonderful. Well, that concludes my questions for today. There's so much magic you are bringing, Fae Empress, to the children. I can see how meaningful this is in your own experience and how awe-inspiring it is. There's so much there, and you're constantly learning and growing yourself. And I see so much of your own personal magic that you're bringing to these children and really supporting their expression. It's just wonderful. So thank you so much for coming on today. And the Alvin Wizard, I'm not sure if you have any other questions for the Fae Empress, or yep, I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you. Could you share like what some of the most impactful, right, sharings from some of the kids where it's hit you, where you've seen like, oh wow, like how it's transformed them? You've shared so many, every few weeks I'll get check out what this kid said or created, if I can remember.
Oh my gosh, I should keep it in a journal, really, because what I used to do at the end of each workshop, I would phone Aaron or leave him a voice message with something absolutely amazing that a child had shared with me. But things like going to the ice realm, and they would start making up things that would help them in real life. So, for example, if they said, all right, when I'm really anxious and worried, I'm going to just imagine myself freezing so that I can stop, and then I'll just imagine all the worries melting away, and just coming up with their own strategies to help them in real life situations. I think the most amazing thing for me was my boys' workshop, where they were able to go, oh, this reminds me of, and then they were starting to talk about things that were happening in their real world and what they were going to use, especially, like I said earlier, about finding courage and improve self-esteem. Those have been the main things, and they're the main reasons why I do it. Just finding a way for children to tap into their inner confidence in a way that's not too imposing, or, oh, they're just asking me loads of questions. Yeah, that's been the best thing for me, seeing that.
Love it. Awesome. Yeah, it's been for me, it's been fun seeing all the creativity that comes through it. And then it's almost what I'm seeing is it's opening up and giving them sort of permission to really tap into their imagination to problem solve, whether it's problem solving, their own inner emotional challenges and stress and anxiety, or problem solve, real world challenges. And that's kind of been part of my dream or vision with this is, there's a lot of big stuff going on in the world right now, a lot of big challenges that these kids are going to be facing personally and also, on the global scale as they come into adulthood. And I see this is helping them. They can even keep a portion of this, hopefully more, as they come into adulthood, to be able to tap back into the avatar for their own empowerment and dealing with challenges, and also whatever whatever areas they go to in their life, whatever work they do, to be able to tap into that imagination and bring that through in their problem solving and what they do in this world and create. And another piece of it is the connection with the earth. We do have a lot of nature activities as well. That's something we didn't really mention. A lot of this program is inspired by trees and my love of nature, and bringing that into this whole experience. And so, helping kids find that deeper connection. It's not just, oh, those are the trees and the birds, and more of that, like, just mentalized, scientific, oh, this is that and that, but like this deep connection with it, and our personal connection and interrelation with nature. And the kids having that from that youthful age and be able to grow up with that. And I know it's beautiful there in New Zealand, and you guys have some amazing nature that I love, and getting for them just to cherish it in a deeper way. is a beautiful thing and really empowering. So loving all of it. And I just want to share, the different, we mentioned earlier, we've got the different kids experiences available. So again, you can go to irjkids.com, and Emma's got a 5-week online workshop she's about to run for us. That starts, I think that's next week here. So she's going to be running that. Yeah, I think that's next week. And we're going to be doing more of those kind of online rotating workshops. So if you don't have the quite capacity, or you want to, bring your kid in, Emma is going to run them through each week, some of the different journeys and creations and activities. You can, of course, sign your kid up for an account and let them go through it. We've got the facilitator training. If you feel like, if you're an educator or if you're working with kids and you want to bring this to the work you're doing, you can sign up for that. And then we've also got the training for parents that want to, bring this in to their home, into their homeschooling, reach out. We've got the program for that, the live, and working with them as well. So a lot of offerings there to just help anybody that wants to get this going for their kids out there. And we're working with, like I said, we're in the beginning. We just got into the Colorado Arts and Education magazine. We're working with some different tutors as well. So we're just, if anyone out there knows any ideas, we're open to connections and get this magic out to the world. So
send them on over.
Yeah, send them on over. My vision is that this changes, education changes how we connect with these kids, how we empower these kids, to bring them the academic pieces and the artistic pieces, simultaneously empowering them to bring forth all that they are, to help them navigate, the strange things that we all experience here in this world and the challenges, and give them some tools I wish I had as a kid, in a fun way, in a fun, engaging. Yeah, right. I'm sure any adult watching this is like, I wish I had some of these tools.
I know, we had a comment here. I love that this is in existence.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you, Wizard.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, welcome, and thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
To have this fun, exciting, transformational tool, and be able to give this to the kids off the bat and let them run with it. It's just amazing. So,
yeah, let's bring the magic back. Life's got a bit serious recently, not only for adults, but it's being filtered down into our children because they're feeling it and they're seeing it. And with the lockdowns, and I think we forget, they're children, and we need to play and we need to laugh and find our joy and not take life so seriously all the time. We're all creators, so let's create some magic and fun.
Yeah. All right. Thank you both so much. Leave it open for a moment for any comments or questions from anybody. And and if you're an adult, this is there for the adults as well. This was more of a discussion about our kids platform, but of course the adults there for innerrealmsjourney.com. You can join in. You'll get to create your avatar, your sanctuary, power up your biosuit, and start journeying through the different realms. So that's all there for the adults as well. And you get all the fun trainings and quests and activities as well for adults. So get in there, check it out.
And it works. It works, adults, because since I've been doing this, I wanted to live by the sea. I was like, I'm going to live by the sea, and I am looking to my left, and I can see the sea. That's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. So it really does help with all that dream creating manifestation stuff.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I think it helps you really tap into what you really want and start to vision that and connect that into your life. So it's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you both so much for being on tonight and sharing your gifts and your magic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll have awesome, Sarah. Yeah, and we'll have this replay will be up on Inner Realms Journey YouTube, the Inner Realms Journey Facebook page, my page as well. So and feel free to reach out with any questions.
Perfect.
All right. Have a beautiful night. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, may the magic of all the realms. Float through you. Haha.
Yeah.